Mike, out of the FA Youth Cup, how do you assess that one?
Yeah, it's a tricky one to kind of assess. There was no surprises really. The plan that we looked at, we knew that they were going to be pressing aggressively, getting after us, waiting for the first square pass, which they did most of the night really well. We knew that we had to try and either play through it or play around it. But yeah, I wasn't surprised by them. I knew what they were about, and they didn't shock us. What surprised me more than most was our bravery to still do the right things under that amount of pressure. So I look at that game tonight, and that's more like what our first team looks like. You know, the intensity, the press, the relentless nature of the game. And I think we struggled at times. Although we had a bit of possession, it was more so that they were controlling where we were having possession in front of them. We felt when we broke through central areas, we were able to get onto the back of them, and their wing backs couldn't press as effectively. So it was a tough one to take. A free header on a corner, it's criminal. Can't be giving free headers. There was one or two lads free that could have headed it in, and we had a couple of warnings on that in the first half, and we knew their threat on set plays. And then a couple of really soft goals where we knew the space behind was a problem, and we just didn't see it. Two centre backs didn't see it both times, and got in a bit of a muddle, and it's cost us.
We showed great spirit. Obviously, the first goal we score a couple of minutes after. The third goal, again, we get one back, and we almost look like we can nick another one and get an equaliser late on. Is it fair to say that perhaps some of the best football we played was a little bit reactionary at times to the goals that they scored?
I don't know if it was reactional to their goals that it scored. I think we brought two players on that were ball carriers, and we felt that they might have an impact later in the game. I just needed more from the players that started the game in terms of keeping the ball and being brave in that contact when it was getting physical. So the lads coming on changed the game, because Ross come on and did what Ross is very good at. Hasn't done it of late, but he showed today why he's such a talented lad, and he got the ball and he was breaking that first line, and he was able to get away. Same with Kean. I thought Kean was excellent when he came on, and he really took the game to him, won the penalty, scored the goal to get it back to 3-2. So I don't think it was reactional to their goals. It was more the fact that the personnel on the pitch were starting to be a little bit braver. We were trying to pin their wing backs back, but without any good possession, it's difficult to pin their wing backs back, because we can't get that ball far enough up the pitch to affect them. But when we had those ball carriers on the pitch, we certainly made them sit back a little bit and think about what we were doing rather than what they wanted to do.
Like you say, the substitutes made such a difference, and sort of in 90 plus whatever minute it was, when Ross has a go from the edge of the area, you thinking perhaps that one's going to end up in the back of the net and we're going to force them to extra time? Yeah,
I mean, look, again, we've conceded some criminal goals. So I always say the group's got enough goals in them to win any game against any team. They can score goals. They've shown that tonight. And I think that we could have had more chances if we were more effective in the first 60 minutes. And that's what it comes down to. I don't look at the last 20 or 30 and say that we could have got to extra time because of that. I think that we were in a good position, a good shape, a good structure, a good organisation out of possession to cause some problems on the counter, which we did. And I'm disappointed in the first 60. I'm very pleased with how we started to play in the last 20 to 30 minutes. But it was just too little too late, and I look at body languages and see what kind of players, what kind of character. You said we got good character, and we showed good character. I think certain elements of the group did, and I think certain elements of the group showed that they're lacking, and that's fine, because they're under 18 footballers and they're learning about the game and what's needed to make it as a professional footballer. So again, we'll look at the game as much as it hurts, and it's going to hurt for a while because we're out of the cup now. We'll certainly strip out the learning objectives from that.
I mean, like you say, the players, you could see at the end of the game when the whistle goes, and you can see from the body language as they walk off, they're obviously absolutely gutted to go out of this competition. But I suppose that is what it's about, isn't it? That learning process, and at this level, it's what's going to sort of make or break them as footballers, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I've just said to them there. Like, you know, as much as I'm not frustrated. I am frustrated with the result. Obviously, like, nobody likes losing. It's more the performance and the process that went through. You know, we had a plan, and it would have worked had it been executed a little bit better. There was elements that did work, but when you go into the first team, if you let your man run off you and they get a free header and they score and they win 1-0, fine margins, that can cost people jobs. Like, you know, you might not find yourself back in the team for 6 weeks, 7 weeks. You might not even play again because you can't be trusted to do those little basics that is certainly required when 3 points are on to play for.